welcome to a very special cover story interview. Today we have with us the man of the moment, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. He's a third-time MP. He's the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee. He's an eminent jurist and a constitutional expert. And I may add, the Congress answer to every legal hurdle that they have, they all run to Abhishek Manu Singhvi really is the answer. So Dr. Singhvi, welcome to this conversation. And I can see you're in a very pleasant surroundings. You're going to make us all envious before we even start talking to you about the real issues.
That was the intention. That was the intention, to make you all envious.
I can see the heat of politics, and this is the one way to handle it. But you are the man of the moment, in terms of, I think any legal situation, the Congress rushes to you for an answer. But now this Surat case, I know you're going to be challenging it in court. A very senior BJP cabinet minister also told me, why is the Congress so worried? Abhishek Manu Singhvi to stay liayega. So why is Abhishek Manu Singhvi not moved against the Surat judgment? And is Abhishek Manu Singhvi worried because of Patna mein bhi aa raha hai? He's going to be facing cases in all over the country.
Okay, you asked several different questions, but let me tell you, I am touched by the maternal care and concern of BJP and BJP ministers about why the stay is not coming. That's really quite touching in a manner of speaking. Now, it's been about 6-7 days, 23rd and today is 31st, so 7 days, let's say. It is true that possibly a little faster may have worked. But people who say this, and of course there are other people, not necessarily the person whom you are mentioning, but other people, have all kinds of conspiracy theories, and I'm very amused always listening to them. One of them is that the whole of the Congress is actually ganging up against Rahul Gandhi to ensure his appeal is not filed. So these are things which are more, I think, in the realm of, delightful, humorous comic fiction than anything relevant. See, the appeal requires detailed going into evidence. This is conviction. It requires drafting. More particularly in this case, it required the translation of a 170-page Gujarati judgment. Then all the evidence has to be seen by the man who's drafting. And that's not me, let me tell you. And thereafter it is filed. Thereafter holidays are intervening. So it takes some time to list. So let me tell you that it's fully on track. It will happen for all those people who are so concerned about us. And as I said, I'm touched by their maternal care and concern. That I can assure them this is going to happen soon. What the court will do, I don't know. This is something which has to be evaluated professionally. But let me answer that part, the second part of your question. Does it not strike you, Priya, as strange? And I'm talking now as layman. Let's not talk of the technical part. Is it really defamation or is it hounding? The sentence says, I'm surprised all these thieves, their surname is X. You've seen the sentence, right? It doesn't say that all surnames with that surname are thieves.
I agree.
Number one. Number two, on that, the people are named, 3 people are named. Have any of them filed a complaint? No.
Well, Lalit Modi is saying in the media he may.
Well, he may when he does. But today I am convicted not on a complaint filed by you. You are a named person. Priya Sahgal has chosen not to file. The law is very clear. Unless a person is aggrieved and hurt and affected, they cannot file. So what does politics do? Politics sets up deliberately by distorting and inverting that sentence. One Modi in Surat, one Modi in the Patna, one Modi in Ranchi, to file 3 complaints on the specious, non-existent allegation that he has said that all Modis are thieves. That is far from the reading of the English language of the statement itself. And now you are therefore clearly politically hounding, throttling and gagging free speech in the course of political discourse. This was a political speech of about 3 pages if you transcribe it. In that one sentence comes that I come to your throat, I gag you, I scare you, I intimidate you. What is free speech if you start using this? And then the moment we get, if and when we get a stay of conviction here, you go for a conviction in Patna and then in Ranchi. I'm not saying that it will happen. Our courts are more robust and our law is more commonsensical than some people think. But the point is, look at the attempt of those who want to be control freaks, who are scared by things like a growing understanding of Rahul Gandhi, a growing solidarity with Rahul Gandhi, a growing support for initiatives which are grueling, like Bharat Jodo, a growing outpouring of concern about where the country is going in terms of narrowness, divisiveness. These are reactions of boklat, of frustration, of a certain amount of confusion, in fact, I would say, in the BJP. And so therefore, let us wait for that stay as and when we get it. And there are many other facets of that, which I'll tell you in a moment, but that's the broad picture. This is just not defamation, much less criminal defamation on the sentence as it stands.
Okay, I have another question. Supposing Rahul Gandhi doesn't appeal, my theory is, will he still have to face a jail term? Otherwise, he can take the moral high ground. He can, become a victim. Anyways, Rahul is not very interested in parliamentary politics. His attendance is very abysmal. So, would that maybe is he thinking of that option?
Well, the second part of your sentence is, of course, totally wrong and unacceptable, but I'll deal with it in a moment. Let's look at overall. This question has come, and this again needs to be clarified in law. As far as jail is concerned, let me tell you that sometimes Rahul Gandhi has to be restrained from going to jail. Far from being scared, far from being intimidated, he has been open and ready. He doesn't bother about it. I can tell you personally that sometimes we've advised him that, look, you don't necessarily have to go out of the way to say that you are ready to go to jail. We know that you can take it. We know that you can stand up to it, but don't do it. So that is the problem. And you are right that perhaps it was only incarceration. One way would be to not challenge the sentence. But what you forget here, Priya, is that there are two parts to it. One is sentence, which has look at the irony. The sentence has been stayed by the judge, the same judge, on the same day, knowing that it is inconsequential. And that answers your question. The judge also knows it is inconsequential. While staying the sentence, why it is inconsequential is because the law requires for the other part, not for incarceration, for disqualification, the law requires that there be a stay of conviction also. Stay of conviction is necessary, not mere stay of sentence. Now, if stay of conviction is required, then imposing the maximum punishment on a first-time offender, allegedly, and that too, let me tell you, Priya, you go and consult your lay friends, not your lawyer friends, your lay friends. If you find Chirag leke dhoondne pe bhi a single case of criminal defamation getting 2 years max punishment on the first-time offender, or even otherwise, forget first time, I would give you a prize. My limited experience of law tells me that there has been hardly, first of all, any conviction, but where there is a conviction, it is 1 month, 3 months, in some bizarre extreme cases, 6 months. 2 years maximum, never heard of. Now, to come back to your question, Rahul Gandhi certainly is interested in having his voice for the people of India in Parliament and outside Parliament. His attendance is in the midst of hundreds and hundreds of other chores he does that people tend to forget. He's been party president, he's been party leader, he's traveling. So I think even then his attendance is not visible. But to extrapolate from that attendance of a busy party leader to suggest that he'll be happy, which is what our opponents would want, to be disqualified and remain out of parliament politics for 8 years. Remember, it's 8 years, not 6 years. It's a ridiculous proposition. It's an absolutely ridiculous proposition. So let me assure you, stay of conviction is the focus of the moment. It is the necessity of the moment. It is the correct legal approach. It is the correct political approach.
But let me take the political approach from here onwards. If you take a larger picture of this, if Rahul Gandhi is, barred or whatever from stayed from contesting politics for 8 years, contesting elections, that automatically rules him out as the PM face for the next election. Now, the opposition's biggest weakness is a Rahul versus Modi fight. This gives you a face-saving way not to make it a Rahul versus Modi fight. Keep Rahul out. Let him be the martyr. It'll keep you out of work for a bit, but that's about it.
You have outdone, as a devil's advocate, of course, I know it's not your view, you have outdone even the grand conspiracy theories of Mr. Amit Shah at the recent conclave and of the BJP. I think you have a place very high up in politics. If you can even imagine, it seems to be somebody's very febrile and fertile imagination. So look at the prong.
It's a very convenient political way out.
look at the building blocks of your superstructure of this febrile and fertile imagination. First, that Congress is interested in keeping him out. Second, the entire non-NDA opposition wants to keep him out. Third, for this, they allow him to be disqualified for 8 years. And fourth, we sit back and do nothing. I think my formulation answers the question itself.
But the second part, I don't know, you may be a little right rather than wrong on that. The NDA does not want Rahul as the face. That is the problem why Mamata Banerjee, Akhilesh Yadav and TRS, the new name BRS, are not on the same platform.
I think look, coming back to a more serious note, leaving aside as I complimented you on the febrile and fertile imagination underlying the question, the opposition has many differences. We'd be foolish to deny it. We'd be non-candid and hypocritical to deny it. But the differences arise from perhaps less ideological concerns. Broadly, there is ideological similarity. More regional, geographical, local concerns. And sometimes because of historical concerns. Because after all, Congress has been the ruling party for decades and there are historical reasons. Having said that, there are 2 or 3 fundamental things on which the opposition is completely united. And people prefer to look at the glass 3/4 empty, and not to the glass 9/10 full. The glass 9/10 full is this, Priya. You have realized everywhere that Mr. Modi at his best performance gets 39% of the vote. 39%. That means if you consolidate 80 to 90% of the balance 61, Mr. Modi is either losing or in difficulty, serious difficulty. 2, the opposition has no division of opinion about NDA and Mr. Modi being out. They have other divisions of opinion, not on that. 3, they are now converging to an extent never before. I am proud to say that in my Raipur address, I spoke in Hindi and I propounded what I said, the legal coalition. And I said the legal coalition would be a precursor to a political coalition.
Yes.
After that, within 2 weeks, we have filed a 14-party converged legal petition, which is coming on the 5th in the Supreme Court. There were 4 other parties about to sign, but there was no time, so we filed it quickly. After that, Mr. Kharge has had a floor leaders meeting. Parties which have never attended have attended. And I don't want to name, I mean, you know very well the TMC, you know Mr. Prasad, the JDU, you know so many other parties. And there was remarkable conviviality and convergence and solidarity. There have been now, leaving aside minor technical differences, unanimity on the corporate issue which is going on in and outside Parliament. There is unanimity on the agency misuse. There is unanimity that you have to prevent fragmentation of vote. Now, all this means that these conspiracy theories are what the BJP would like and love to exist, but are actually frustrated that they don't.
Well, the past and the precedents has not been very encouraging. I mean, yes, they came together for that one dinner where Uddhav Thackeray didn't come because of the Savarkar mention. The entire opposition did not come together for the vice president election. I mean, when you can't come together for something as simple as that, how are you going to come together for the big ticket 2024?
See, the point in your question in all this, I've already answered giving you 3 examples. But the point in your question is actually looking at that one missing party. You don't look at the 14 others, the 18 others who do come. Now, I agree. I don't think any opposition unity is fair or good without the TMC. It's a vital party. Mamata Banerjee is a very, very far-reaching, strong leader. I agree they should be there. But in all these meetings, there are so many other parties there, and the TMC is actually agreeing with many of the issues except of technicalities. So I think you should see the glass 8/10 full, if not 9/10 full. You are looking at that 16th party which is missing, that 18th party which is missing, and saying there is no opposition unity. What about the 17 over there? And also, let me tell you that this will change and converge more and more as time draws nearer. Look, this Prime Minister issue is a bogey. The Prime Minister, Priya will be Prime Minister, I will be Prime Minister, who will be Prime Minister? This will ultimately be decided by the numbers, broadly by sitting together. I don't think anybody has said, nobody, that look, I am the Prime Minister, or my party alone will decide the Prime Ministership. Who has said that? This is again throwing the cat amongst the pigeons by BJP well-wishers and carers for our situation.
Okay, I'm going to take a break and come back, and I want to ask Dr. Singhvi two questions. One, is it now time for people to say, I am not the Prime Minister face? Instead of nobody saying I am, but make it clear that maybe a certain person is not the Prime Minister face to bring the opposition together. And B, if he thinks a post-poll alliance is better or a pre-poll, both have the advantages and disadvantages. He's a constitutional expert, so I'm going to come back to him on that question also. Hello and welcome back to Cover Story. We're in conversation with Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, the man of the moment who's going to be fighting the Surat case for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress. But the larger picture, if I have with me, I want to also discuss the larger poll picture for 2024. Now, you've been arguing, Dr. Singhvi, that there will be opposition unity. What kind of a unity do you envisage? Do you think a pre-poll unity works better or a post-poll unity works better?
First and foremost, the operative word is unity. The rest are all modalities and forms. I've been a great votary. I've been speaking on this in Hindi and English at Raipur, outside Raipur in Parliament. I think simple arithmetic without any rocket science tells you the answer to your question, Priya. As I said in the previous part, 39% is your max performance. Why can't you consolidate 90 or 80% of the balance 61? The first past the post Westminster UK system means that the 39% chap wins if even 10 other parties get 38, 37, 36, and so on and so forth. So It's ridiculous not to consolidate that vote division. Number two, I have advocated publicly, let me use this opportunity to repeat briefly, there is no reason why either Mr. Modi cannot lose or he gets a tremendous fright. If you fight the Lok Sabha elections of 24 as state elections, you state X, you find Priya is in pole position there. All other non-NDA parties coalesce and stand around Priya and have thereafter seat-by-seat allocation by a strict survey based only on winnability. Then you go to state Y, where you find Abhishek Singhvi is in pole position. There Priya also and all the other parties coalesce around Abhishek Singhvi. And then again do the seat-by-seat survey. And of course, you get 10%, 20%, 30%, I get 70% or whatever. You do that twice. And you see the difference. Number three, obviously a pre-poll alliance is better. Pre-poll alliance, I forget the legal part. The political message it sends is very important. Therefore, between now and the 9 months left, you must work only on displaying that convergence and solidarity and say that, look, you have to decide like Arjun's eye, what is the basic object and the basic enemy and the basic issue. It is to 2024. I don't like you in your state, you don't like me in my state, are issues which we have sort out after 2024. Number four, pre-poll alliance, as I said, also has a legal consequence. Something which, you cannot even pretend to call the other side first if you have a pre-poll alliance. Number five, the answer to your query is that there will be always some outliers. So I don't expect, I think I'll be living in a fool's paradise if I said that pre-poll alliance means that every party who's on non-NDA will come and sign today or before the elections. Pre-poll will always have 2, 3, 4 outliers. Those also have to be worked on despite a pre-poll alliance on a post-poll understanding or outside support. Because suppose the pre-poll alliance is the single largest, anyway by law you have to call it. But even then, if the outsiders, the so-called outliers, there are so many ways they can say post-poll alliance, they can say we will support from outside, they will say that in any case we will absent. In such situations, the president has no option but to still call the pre-poll alliance. So I think you must have this flexibility. The second operative word after unity is flexibility. And you must be able to, join and unjoin these permutations and combinations, because the one great weakness you must realize, Priya, and that's the sixth point. Mr. Modi, with all his great talents, and I straight away consider one of the greatest orators and, tries to pull people to him, he's also a very polarizing figure. He's a very dividing figure. So the moment there is convergence and unity, then how many parties can you count on your fingers who will join him in a case of, a less than majority situation post 24? So therefore, the clear advantage lies in the non-NDA formation after 24 in case no one gets a clear majority. In case nobody gets a clear majority, the clear advantage lies with the non-NDA forces. You must capitalize on that.
Especially if you have that pre-poll alliance in place. But
not to have any pre-poll alliance would be foolish. There has to be some pre-poll alliance. I can understand that it is not as seamless and as comprehensive as I am advocating. But on that spectrum, 70%, 80%, 85%, there must be.
Okay, so each pre-poll alliance or any alliance will need a sutradhar, somebody to put it, hold it together. Like Harkishan Singh Surji did it, Sonia Gandhi did it for UPA. Who will do it now? Is there any such leader of stature that you can,
I
as
think
a
the third operative word is sutradhar. You used a very good word. That's a very apt word you used. Now, I don't think there's a single sutradhar, but the sutradhar has to be there. And I would say 3 or 4 entities. I would put Congress very much there. Very, very much there, up in front, as a sutradhar, as a pusher, as a catalyzer, as a kind of a great dynamic pull and push, followed by people, 2 or 3 people, and I have no hesitation in naming them, people like Sharad Pawar.
Yeah.
People, I would say, even like Mamata Banerjee. There may be differences. But she is one of the most remarkable agitational street politicians we have today. She goes out there and she knows the pulse of the people. Number 4, 3 is enough, quite frankly, to push around. But number 4, to make a more comprehensive 360 degrees coverage, is Stalin.
Stalin over Chandrasekhar Rao, the TRS.
Chandrasekhar Rao could well fall in the outlier category at the moment. So I wouldn't say, you are talking today of between now and the 9 months.
Right.
It's between now and the 9 months that I'm leaving these 4 figures. I don't think he has that. It would be excellent, I would say, if he joins. I mean, I'm all for it. Jagan also. But I'm not sure that they're in the mainstream of that catalyzing process.
Yeah, because Chandrasekhar Rao, the people who are not going to be joining are people with their own prime ministerial ambitions. Even a Mamta, I would put there. I would put Chandrasekhar Rao. Even Akhilesh Yadav, though right now his focus is UP. But people who think that the Congress is going to trump their prime ministerial ambitions.
This paradox you just underlined, Priya, just now last sentence. Let us assume, let's not name people. You are Priya, you have a prime ministerial ambition. Let me tell you one more thing. You asked another question I forgot to answer. It is hypocritical. It is hypocritical to give sermons and say, I was declared not to be a PM candidate. I forgot to answer that question. We can sermonize, we can preach. We're all human. Who will not have a prime ministerial ambitions? I can't think of a Gandhi amongst us. and let's not fool ourselves just thinking that. And I think it's legitimate. If you worked your skin off for this, it is legitimate to have those ambitions. But having said that, look at the paradox in your last point. You want to be Prime Minister, I want to be Prime Minister, correct?
Right.
And for that, we are each drawing in different directions or breaking. Now, equally, your ambition and my ambition, be it whoever wins, can only catalyze when we are united. You see, the question of you becoming Prime Minister or me will arise only after we are united and get to that stage. Stage 1 is going past the post. Stage 2 is selecting the Prime Minister. So there is a paradox and a contradiction between your ambition, legitimate though it is, to be a Prime Minister, and sabotaging the unity efforts prior. Because without the first, you don't get to the second, sir.
But tell that to your other leaders, because elections nowadays are anyways becoming more, tell it to the voter also. They're becoming more individualist. People are voting for Modi rather than the BJP. Remove Modi, and I think BJP will be half its number.
No, that's not so.
No?
I'll tell you. Remove Modi and BJP will be half number, I agree. I'm not saying no to that. But what you are saying is true only in certain sections and geographical parts of the country. You will now notice very interestingly, the BJP itself is very hesitant to declare its prime ministerial or chief ministerial candidate. Prime ministerial is a separate box because of Modi, but CM candidate. Why? In a Chhattisgarh or in a, even in a Himachal.
Even in Karnataka, they've got, I was reading
very good. Karnataka, I was just going to say, excellent example. Where, after Yediyurappa, even with Yediyurappa, they were hesitant to declare. Now, the reason is simple. Today, it depends on the individual. In certain parts of the Hindi belt, your statement may be correct. In large parts of India, which I will now define as East India, Central East India, South India, and a part of Southwest India, absolutely untrue. Northeast, untrue. It is in some parts of India, which is broadly but wrongly, not quite accurately, maybe called the Hindi belt. And that too westwards of Odisha and southwards of Nepal and southwards of Kashmir and above the Vindhyas. That belt, yes. That belt, yes, in some, and that too not every time, but yes, mostly. So therefore, I think this, this feeling, see, you are winning not because I'm declaring Priya the Prime Minister candidate. You are winning because you are preventing vote division.
Yeah, correct. But that, again, the vote division is more within your opposition also. That's something they have to actually sit together and put aside the egos for the larger issue, as you have pointed out.
Or I can't be more forthright and clear and open than what I've said before you. I mean, I stand by what I've said. And it's for all to hear. It doesn't matter which party is aligned with or without the Congress.
Very well explained and articulated, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. And if there is, I like the phrase you use, legal coalition. So if there is a legal coalition on the ground, then I think there is a very eminent Prime Minister candidate right here, in fact, for that. But thank you so much for this conversation. Always a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.